That was a standing ovation.
Man, that was, come on, knock it off.
That's gotta feel good. That's gotta feel.
You know, I know you meant well, but I had the Tonight Show for 10 minutes, and you just ate into my time.
We'll give you time.
This is all the time I have. Knock it off.
Standing up on this desk, I was almost as tall as you are. You're a very tall
Yes, I'm a freak. Yeah, it's not good. I'm a kind of height, and many people have said that that would hurt your career to be that tall. I was told that there were, over the years, guests that might not want to come on, especially male actors that are smaller, because I would tower over them. So it's a true story. What I would do for years, and you can see it on tape, is I would get up from the desk when I introduced, it's Bono from U2, whatever, and I would get up, and I would go like this, and I would greet them, and then I would place them in the chair, and then I would go back.
You pick them up and place
Pick them up.
and put them in the chair. Pat them on the back.
Sometimes a little burp.
That's nice of you.
They've just had their bottle. Who can say? But no, I was self-conscious about that. I didn't want to, as you know, if you're the host, you want to make sure that everyone's comfortable.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be this big Muppets puppet dangling over everybody, so I was constantly crouching.
Yeah, I remember that was intimidating when the first time I met you, and because of your height, but it's just also like you're larger than life because we know you from TV. But
Yeah, well, the word's iconic.
that's
So stupid.
I didn't realize.
What the hell was that? No, seriously, it is something that, well, I remember very well the first time, I think you came on, we had you on as a guest.
Yeah, you were my first ever talk show, and I thank you so much for this. I have
like,
a
I'm not
photo
going to
here.
have, you were, yeah, this is us.
1999.
This is 19, yeah. That is us. That's 1954.
I was honored to be on your show, and I'm honored that you're.
You know what I remember though most? You were on the show, great. I come out in the hallway, and your parents. You remember this? Your parents are in the hall, which is right here. His parents are in the hall, and they were like, "How did Jimmy do?"
Oh my gosh.
And so I just said, "That kid's going all the way."
Yeah.
And your parents were like, "Conan says he's going all the way."
Yes.
And then I realized I say that to everybody.
No,
I say that to Stu Schmitzel. No, you were. Who's Stu Schmitzel?
Yeah,
exactly.
seriously, I love Stu Schmitzel.
But no, I remember they were so sweet, and I remember you were great right away. So it all worked out.
No, my gosh, I can't thank you enough. Even seeing you in the hallway, I was like,
It's weird to come back. It's weird. I haven't been in this building for such a long time, and I haven't been on this floor.
yeah, what was it like?
In forever.
Did flashbacks happen? Did you?
You have strange memories of, I mean, I was here for 16 years doing the late night show before we went out to LA, and right across the hall, and all these memories came flooding back to me. And the first thing that will hit you, and it will hit you too, because one day you'll have this show as long as you want it, but when you're 98, you'll move on, and someone else will be in this studio.
Yeah.
When someone else is in your studio, it feels weird. So I walked in and I said, "Who's in my old studio?" And they said, "Kelly Clarkson."
Yeah.
And I love Kelly Clarkson. Yeah. Who doesn't love Kelly Clarkson? But still, I felt like, it's not right!
It should be a museum!
Blasphemy!
It should be a museum!
They should have burned it to the ground! And then Kelly came out to say hi, and it said, "Don't talk to me! You make me sick!"
You took it. Wow.
Yeah, I did. I feel terrible, Kelly. I really do. But no.
What do you remember? Like, do you remember like doing the show? Like when you
I remember very clearly. I would come in. You come in to work, and you take a right to come into this. I'm thinking.
Yes.
I don't really know right or left. It's on my sock, but
yes, I make a
and
right.
I would take a left and go into the studio right across the hall.
That was Letterman's studio.
That was Letterman's old studio. I inherited that, and I remember my dressing room is right there near the hallway. And for years, we had my name on it. It just said Conan O'Brien. So this was where Live at 5 was taped. So people would come on the show at Live at 5. They would leave, and I'm talking 70, 75-year-old actors who are now doing theater, local theater.
Sure.
They would come out, and they would see Conan O'Brien's dressing room. They would bang on my dressing room door. I'd be in there trying to take a nap.
Yeah.
And I'd open the door and they'd be like, come on, put me on the show.
They try to get booked on your
They would
show?
want to get, and so I remembered very clearly Frank Gorshin, who was TV's Riddler in the 1960s,
Great
knocking on my door and doing voices outside the door. You let me in, you Jody Rat. Like voices from the 1930s. Now, see here, kid, you're going to let me on the show. And I thought, why is my name on the door? Anyone can knock on my dressing room. And so that's how everyone got booked. They would just knock on my dressing room door.
That was always your dressing room door?
It was my dressing room door, yeah.
I remember Max's dressing room was across from yours, Max Weinberg.
That's right.
And I remember, because he had the Muppet Pipes in his dressing room. Do you remember?
Yes, the Jim Henson Muppet Pipes. Jim Henson did a show here in the 60s and did all these amazing drawings on the pipes. And there was a little hole cut out in the wall where you could see them. I hope they preserved it.
Yeah. So it was in Max's dressing room. So I would bring my parents to the show, and I go, "Hey, Max," he's like in his robe or something. He's like, "Yeah." I go, "Can my parents see the Muppet Pipes?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, come on in, man." I go,
Yeah, you're lucky he had his robe on. He'd always say, "Come on in and see the Muppet Pipes," and you'd come in.
That's not true. No, it's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. No.
You see a pipe, you like? Oh, come on.
We put it behind. That's so funny. But people just come into your room.
They would come in, but it was fun. We had, also crazy memories of stuff that happened back in the 90s that seems surreal now, but we had a show that we were getting ready to do, and about 45 minutes before the show, or maybe longer than that, but not long before the show, there was a fire somewhere in the building, and they said, we're clearing it all out. We decided to do the show anyway, so we went down to the skating rink. The guest was Samuel L. Jackson. Andy Richter, my sidekick, and I ran into a Sharper Image and bought one of those massage chairs, put it out next to the rink, and Samuel L. Jackson is like sitting there. The coolest guy in the world, but no one can make one of those chairs cool.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there, and those are the things, I don't know about you, but when I, in my life now, ride around Manhattan, all I remember is, being, dressed in a loincloth on that corner.
Yeah.
And dunking myself in chicken broth, like just stupid, idiotic things. You get flash memories. Yeah. And any other doctor would say, oh, you're mentally ill, you're going insane. No, these are things I really did and that you've done. Yeah.
Yeah, do you walk around the city now? Does New York City feel like, I know you live in Los Angeles, but does New York City feel like your home? Do you walk around? People must recognize you all the time.
People are so nice to me. And one of the things that's interesting about me, there's two types of people in our business. There are people that are very happy to do a selfie, and people that are shy about it, don't really want to do it. I'm guessing you're like me. I'm always like, of course, I'll do a selfie.
Yeah, why not?
Takes a second, makes them happy. And so I do a lot of selfies in New York. But my favorite was, I went to Boston recently. That's where my parents are still up in Boston. My family's still up in Boston. And I was going to Logan Airport, going through the line, TSA line. And you go through the line, you're taking off your belt, you're taking off your shoes. This really nice young guy in a white shirt and a baseball cap starts chatting with me, and he's saying, Conan, I love the podcast, and I really love the old late night clips. I watch them all the time, and I also really like the stuff you did with The Simpsons. And I'm like, he's so nice. Yeah. And I'm saying, thank you so much. Then we both go through the TSA thing. He goes through, I go through, I collect all my stuff. The way you're kind of distracted. I put my belt on, get my shoes back on. I turn around, see the guy, white shirt, hat, and I go, you know what? Let's do a selfie. Come here, let's do a selfie. And the guy goes, okay. And I said, come on, selfie, let's go. Let's go, you knucklehead. And I get him like in a headlock.
Yeah.
And he does a selfie, and just as he's taking it, I look, my guy's over there.
Who is this guy?
This is just a guy who's also wearing a white shirt and a baseball cap, which is pretty effing common. So rewind that story now and see it from his point of view. He's waiting for his wife to come through. Conan O'Brien comes through and is like, hey! Selfie, get in here, come on! Come on!
Come on.
Get over here!
That's what I'm talking about.
And I told the guy, I feel so, but you can delete it. And he looked like he was on the fence. about deleting it. I felt terrible, but I love moments like that where go right back down to whatever you think you've achieved in life.
Immediately humble.
There's a guy who thinks, I met Conan O'Brien, he's just an insane a-hole.
Congratulations on the podcast. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. That's celebrating 5 years.
Yeah, and what's been fun is
Fantastic.
It started as almost kind of a joke, and then it really blew up, and it's been so much fun. And I do it with Sonam Movsesian and Matt Gorley. And
they're great.
They're just
hilarious.
Yeah, and she's herself. She's my assistant in real life.
Yeah.
And always mouths off to me and doesn't care. And she's wonderful.
You can't
shout
buy
out
that chemistry. It's
shout
great.
out to Sona. And I love doing it because as much I adore this job. This, as you can attest, this is the best job in the world. But there is a thing where you talk to these people, and you know, it's like 6 minutes and then take a break.
That's
7 minutes, take a break.
That's our show.
Because you got to make sure that's the format. And now I talk to people for an hour, and I just talked to, you know, one of my all-time heroes from when I was a kid, Carol Burnett, and
I
talked to her for an hour, and I left the interview. And I'm driving home thinking about me as a kid sitting on the heating grate in Brookline, Mass. with my family, because whoever got the heating grate got the heat.
That's right.
And watching Carol Burnett and how she was television comedy to me for a while. And the fact that I just spent an hour with her and had a mind meld. And I'm practically crying. Irish Catholic, I can't really cry, but we jam everything down.
We're always crying.
We need a few drinks. We cry about anything.
Yeah.
The drink's gone. I don't know. I was very emotional, and I thought, I loved this. I absolutely adored it, but this is a nice thing to do at this stage in my life. It's really fun. So I had a great time.
When you did this job, you met everybody. You interviewed everybody. Was there anyone, I know people asked you this question.
I bet you we have one person in common, which is McCartney, because we're both Beatle fanatics. So the times that I've had a chance to, a couple of times, interact with Paul McCartney.
Yeah, he almost acts like he's doing an impression of Paul McCartney.
He is, yeah. And I'm sure you have
like,
one.
No, I go, well, you know, that's great, Jimmy, you know, that's good. And I go, don't do that. I go, wait, you are Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
That's his actual, you're not doing an impression.
We did that once. We were doing the podcast, and President Obama came on the podcast, and he comes into this room. We went to Washington to do it. He comes into the room where we're going to do it, and I'm just in the kitchen area of this like nice hotel suite. And I hear him come in, and I just hear like, hello, everybody. Good to see you. Nice to be here. How are you? And I start laughing, and all of a sudden, Obama's head sticks around the corner. And he says, what are you laughing about, Conan? And I said, it just sounds like someone doing a Barack Obama impression.
That's exactly right.
And he went, I suppose it does. Off and running, That's his life. But for me, I have to say the most unique person was Prince, because, you know, people talk about talent, and then you see one person there's 75,000 talented people in one person. But also, he had this sort of trickster thing about him. Do you know what I'm talking about? Because I'm sure you met him too.
He was fun like that.
He was almost like a Batman villain who was perfect looking, but also playing little mind games on you in a fun way. And so I did this benefit once. Tiger Woods asked me to MC a benefit, and so I'm out in Las Vegas, and I'm hosting this benefit, and they got everybody to be on this thing. And the closer is going to be Stevie Wonder. And so I say, ladies and gentlemen, Stevie Wonder. And there had been a rumor that Prince was going to join Stevie Wonder on stage for the last song. And I was like, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
So I go back, I say, ladies and gentlemen, Stevie Wonder. He comes out, he starts to play. I go backstage, and I'm standing there, and then you just feel a presence. I just felt a presence. And I look over, it's Prince. And he's the most perfect looking, person in the world. Like, just beautiful skin, wearing like a turquoise bodysuit, just perfect. And he's just standing there, and he looks like he's made out of porcelain. Just gorgeous. Seriously.
He's like a statue of Prince.
He's like a statue of Prince. And he's gorgeous, beautiful. And I just look over at him just as he looks at me, and he goes, hi. And I go, hi, hello. And I don't know what to call him because his name was changing. And I'm like, oh, Fred.
No, definitely wasn't.
It wasn't Fred. I really screwed up. No, but I said, this is exciting. Are you going to play with Stevie Wonder? And he went, no. And I said, oh, you're not going to play with Stevie Wonder? And he went, no, they try to get me too, but I don't feel it tonight. And I said, oh. And I said, so, because that's what they're saying. And he went, no, it was a rumor, just a rumor. Wow. Just a rumor, I'm not going to play with Stevie Wonder. And I went, oh, okay. So then I listened, and out on the audience, Stevie Wonder starts to play the opening to Superstition, on the piano. He starts to play it. And just then I see some motion, and out of the corner of my eye, a guy has put a guitar over Prince. And he starts playing the guitar lick because he's radioed in. And he looks at me and he says, bye. And walks out. Just walks out like, bye.
Why?
Yeah, and then I'll teach it to you guys. Jesus.
Why?
But anyway, and I was like, why? Why? And then I realized there's a beauty to it. It's a surprise. So it's a surprise for the, 30,000 people in the crowd, but also for Conan, too.
See, he didn't let anyone down.
Or I just was like, that is so weird, but I also loved it.
Respect.
Yeah, you must have met him.
I mean, all sorts of weird stuff and trickery and stuff like that. I have a story where I got a text one night and said, Prince wants to play ping pong against you.
Right. Oh, it's never Prince, too. It's other people telling you.
Yeah, it was Prince's manager or something. And I go, I have to go. I think Prince wants to meet me. And so they go, okay.
It's like when Batman says, I need you. You just go, It's just like.
I got in a cab. Yeah. I went down to this place, Spin. And I went in and I go, hey, I'm here to see. And she goes, Prince? And I go, yeah. She goes, yeah, he's right in that room over there. I go, okay. I go in and Prince is waiting for me in like a double-breasted crush, purple velvet. Perfect. And holding a ping pong paddle. And he goes, you ready to do this? I was like, and it was the most insane night ever. It was just us playing ping pong. It was just crazy. And
I bet if I had run into him outside and said, did you just play ping pong with Jimmy Fallon? No.
Bye.
Bye. And then up in a helicopter.
That's how he flies.
He floats away. He's a magical man, yeah.
Talk to me about Conan O'Brien Must Go.
I won't. I always wanted a guest that would do that. We're doing this podcast, and it's been a lot of fun, and then I started to think I'm only talking to celebrities, which is great, but I love talking to people out in the world, so we started getting calls from all around the world to talk to me, and so I started talking to anyone anywhere in the world, and we started to notice that some of them would say, hey, if you're ever in, my weird corner of the world in Tunisia or whatever, stop by. And Norway. I thought, wait a minute, I would love to do a show where I surprise my podcast guests, not tell them ahead of time, and then get involved in their lives. So, for better and often for worse. And so we went to 4 different countries. It's 4 different specials where I do that, and it's really fun. And I'm
Thailand. You went to Ireland. You went to Argentina.
Yeah.
And they have no idea that you're coming, and you go.
They don't know. And we actually we brought a clip of this is me talking to. I did a podcast. A kid called in named Jarla. He's half of a hip hop duo in Bergen, Norway, and. He does not seem like part of a hip-hop duo, but I end up surprising him in his own country. He didn't know I was coming, and then I end up with his hip-hop partner I cut a vocal with them, and I am determined to get this song to the top of the charts in Norway. We're going to get this song. It's going to be #1 in Norway. You don't see the song on this clip, but this is me, I think, showing up unannounced in Bergen, Norway.
Here we go. Here's Conan O'Brien Must Go. Check it out.
Hey, Jarl, come on out here.
Holy
look!
Oh my God.
You're trembling. Wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, my goddamn Crocs out here.
That's okay. Show me the apartment first. Do you mind if I just check out what you got in here?
Go for it.
Look at this. He has 1 spoon. You've left this open, and it's a solid block. How old is this bread?
1 week.
You know what's great about this bread? You can use it to break up the cereal. Look at this! Look at this! These are your goddamn potatoes. He's such a nice kid.
Conan O'Brien Must Go premieres April 18th on Max. Conan, I just want to say thank you for always being so nice to me. Thank you for having me on.
Let me say one thing really quick. I have to say, I'm just very happy for you. I've had the honor of meeting every Tonight Show host, going back to Steve Allen, and I think what you've done with this show is beautiful. You made it your own. You've done so much great quality work, and I couldn't be happier for you. You know, I really am thrilled for you, and you deserve all good things.
Thank you, buddy.
I want to say that.
You raised the bar. You raised the bar. Made me work hard. Conan O'Brien, everybody.